I'm just going to kind of jump from place to place to ask you some questions to fill in some gaps that I have in my mind as far as your testimony earlier. So if you'll forgive me, it's not linear. Okay, so first off, you talked about going through the house, and then I don't remember if you left the house and then went through again a second time. Is that what happened, or can you kind of walk us through that process?
Sure. I didn't walk through the entirety of the house. I think to clear that up was when we cleared the house, at one point I left through the master bedroom door to the backyard and then re-entered that door to walk out the front door of the home.
Okay, so you went through the house and then went through the master bathroom and then went outside and then came back through.
Correct.
Retraced your steps.
Correct.
Were you alone at that point?
Correct.
Okay. And you had another officer that was with you when you, the first time you entered the house, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then what did he do?
He stood by the front doorway and covered the north side of the house while I proceeded south through the hall towards the laundry room and the carport.
Okay. And then at some point, did you call in additional officers?
I did.
Okay.
One of them.
Okay. What was the purpose of that?
To have enough people in the home to cover the three bedrooms that were with the two bedrooms in the office that were in the home to the north.
So all eyes on any area that someone could surprise you from?
Correct.
Okay. Was there anyone in the house?
No.
The second time that you went through the house, did the second officer that you called join you?
When you say I went through that house the second time, you mean when I re-entered the home from the backyard to go out the front door?
I see, right. No, I guess this would be the third time.
Okay.
Sure. So you went to the house once, went back through, and then the third time you had called for support.
Okay, I never left the house the first time, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the first time,
Okay.
I guess to clarify, I came in through the front door. Officer Powell was at the front door with me. He covered to the north. I proceeded to the south of the home, came back to the front door, joined up with Officer Powell and Willie, and then started moving towards the north.
So at that point, Officer Powell didn't wait at the front door. He went with you.
Correct.
To the house, which had enough people to check every angle.
Exactly.
Okay. And I noticed going through that, as you came to each exit door, you checked the lock and unlocked the door?
Correct.
And was each door locked?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be the door that goes through the kitchen kind of out to the carport area?
Correct.
And the door that goes out of the master bath into the backyard?
Correct.
Okay. Now there's a third door, a sliding door. Did you have anything to do with that door?
I did not.
And that's the glass door that you see. It's just off the dining and kitchen area.
Correct.
Do you recall if there was any kind of curtain or anything on that door?
Don't recall.
Okay. Jumping around. Now
Okay.
jumping to the height of the fence.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you went into the backyard, either the first time or the second time, did you notice how high the fence was?
Standard block fence.
So nothing stuck out at you?
No.
And the second time you went through with the two other officers, did they join you to go back to the house?
They did not.
Did they exit through the fence?
They did.
Into the alley?
Correct.
And do you recall if that alley gate was locked or latched?
I didn't go that far.
Okay, all right, okay. I have a question. I'm going to use this. On the master bathroom.
Sorry, for the record, this is exhibit.
249
Thank
in
you.
the states already. So this is the master bathroom, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in your conversation with us, you recall talking to us about a towel that you kind of were interested in the master bathroom.
Yes.
Okay. Is it one of those two items that you can see in the picture, either the pink or the blue one?
The one on the door, the black one on the door?
Okay, so, oh, you mean this, like this?
Yes.
Okay, the black rectangle?
Yeah,
That's the towel that you noticed?
I believe so.
Okay. And what did you notice about it?
That had a smell of chlorine or bleach on it.
Okay. So, the entire house smelled of chlorine,
Correct.
but that particular towel, it had a heightened smell or odor?
The odor seemed to come back to me from the front of the house was where it was really strong. When you go through the bedroom, and the other didn't smell it as strong until it got to that door.
Good. Another kind of crazy question. In your investigation of the house, did you ever find out what the trash collection schedule was for that alley?
No.
Will you agree with me that as you're walking through the house, that you did notice that cabinets or drawers had been rummaged through?
Say that again.
Did you notice whether cabinets or drawers had been rummaged through as you went through the house?
I don't recall.
I'm not sure we got this testimony from you, but do you recall whether the initial call from 911 was for a medical call?
I don't recall whether I know they aired the radio call, and sometimes they come out as medical and PD related.
But nothing sticks out in your recollection.
No.
Do you happen to know where the firefighters were before they responded to the scene?
I do not.
How many firefighters, if you know, entered the house?
4.
And how do you know that?
They told me.
So, you and Powell entered the house,
Correct.
and then you called Ben, is it Weldy?
Yeah, well, yep.
Ben, okay. Was there another officer, Buckler, at the scene?
He was.
Okay. Did he enter the house?
Don't believe so.
If you know, do you know what the firefighters did when they entered the house?
Not specifically. They told me.
Okay. Not for whether it's true, but for your notice of what they said, what did they say?
They said that they attached leads to the victim and confirmed that she was deceased.
Was Detective Lockerbie there?
No.
Okay. Did you ever see him at that initial time at the scene?
Not at the initial time.
Okay. I think that's about it. Just a second. Were you dressed in a patrolman's uniform?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that similar to the uniform you have now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on your uniform, do you normally carry gloves?
In my pocket, yes.
Okay. And those are two types of gloves, correct?
Correct.
What are those types?
Typically, officers will carry either latex gloves in their pocket, which I did not, or felt kind.
Okay. And when you say felt kind, just, I'm familiar with gloves that you used to work on a car, say from Craftsman or something. Is that the type of gloves you're talking about?
Similar.
Okay. And what's the purpose for those gloves?
Typically, if we're going to go hands-on with an individual, if we're going to arrest an individual, then we'll typically put those on to look at skin contact.
Right, and that's really for your protection.
Correct.
And the other type of gloves, what are those for?
Typically, I would use those for biohazard or to limit transfer if I was handling evidence.
Okay, so those gloves are to prevent you from moving your DNA or whatever to the item, the object, okay?
And protection.
I'm sorry?
And protection from us.
Oh, okay, biohazard coming back the other way.
Correct.
Okay. Are those gloves, as far as your patrol officers, do they always carry multiple pairs of those gloves that are used for protection?
It depends on the individual.
Okay. Is there a particular style or color of glove that the department requires?
No.
Okay. How about the rubber gloves?
No, they usually have a supply, but they could go through different manufacturers and colors.
Okay. Crazy question. Do you remember what color those, I'm calling them rubber gloves, I realize they're not rubber. But what color those gloves would have been at that time that the officers had?
I do not.
Okay. And those are disposed of after one use, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But the felt gloves or the mechanics gloves, those are gloves that you have that you might use multiple times in a shift.
Yes.
Okay. In a moment, I may be done. That's all, thank you.
And redirect by the state, so you can have a seat, thank you.
Sergeant, with respect to the gloves, when you enter the residence, were you wearing gloves?
Was not.
And again, tell us the purpose of your entering the home that day.
To look for additional victims or potential threats.
Was that your primary focus?
Correct.
And in doing so, were you armed?
Yes.
Where was your weapon as you traversed the residence?
At the low ready or at the potential rooms that were open.
And what do you mean by low ready?
Just down, probably about at a 45-degree angle from my body.
From your memory, would that be the same, would that same information apply to Officer Powell and Van Wheeler?
It will.
Now, you talked about the smell of bleach or some bleach product throughout the home, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think I heard you say a moment ago that it was the strongest near the front door.
Yes, sir.
But so when you made it to the master bath, explain to me again, did I understand you to say that it seemed to you that the odor grew stronger yet again?
I noticed it when I got to the door, as if there was some sort of bleach or chlorine.
Okay. this object that you pointed out to council a moment ago on the door handle, did you pick it up and smell it? So my question to you is, the stronger odor, do you know for certain where it was coming from?
It appeared from the door area.
Okay. From the door area as opposed to a particular object?
Yes.
Now, do I understand that once you exited into the backyard and you came back through the house, did you retrace your steps through the hallway where Miss Feldman's body was located?
I did.
Did you touch anything in the hallway?
No, sir.
And other than the unlocking the door and locking it back in the master bathroom, did you touch anything?
No, sir.
When you went to the garage and looked into the car, did you touch anything on the car?
No, sir.
Obviously, you must have touched the locks on the door in the laundry room to unlock it, correct?
Correct.
And then you attempted to lock it back, but were unable to.
Correct.
Now, council asked you if you touched the, I'm going to call it an Arcadia door, the sliding glass door that led into the backyard. Do you recall if it was open or closed?
No.
You didn't touch it, correct?
Correct.
And why was that? Why didn't you approach that door?
That room was wide open, so any potential threat to victim was easy to see from my vantage point. There was a lot of potential evidence in that area that I didn't need to go to that. I didn't need to clear that area. I could visually do it.
Did you notice any potential blood evidence either on or around that door, either on the inside or the outside of that sliding door?
Objection to see the six.
Overruled.
You did.
I did not.
You were asked about whether or not this came out as a medical call a moment ago, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember what you heard from dispatch that led you to go to the residence on Monterey Way?
I recall dispatch saying that boyfriend had found his girlfriend in the home, not breathing. And I don't recall what was said after that, but it prompted me to leave where I was at and go to that call.
Now, as you and the Officer Powell and Officer Weldy went through the hallway, checking the 2 bedrooms and the office, did you enter those rooms or did you simply look into them?
I don't recall whether I personally went into those rooms. The way that we were configured to search, sometimes we'll take turns, whoever has the best vantage point will take the bedroom to the left or to the right while the other covers down. But that the other covers the potential threat of the hallway that is coming toward us, so we have all angles covered.
Okay. So, for example, if there were a closet in one of those rooms, would one of you clear the closet?
Yes,
Do you recall doing that at all?
I don't.
Do you recall a door being close to Ms. Feldman's body
I do.
in the hallway? Did you enter that door?
We did not.
Just so I make it clear, that again, in the laundry room, you didn't touch anything but the door locks, correct?
Correct.
When you spoke with the fire personnel, they told council that they told you they put leads on Ms. Feldman's body, correct?
Correct.
Did they indicate to you that they went anywhere else in the home?
They did not.
Did they tell you they didn't, or that you don't recall?
They told me they just went to Allison's body and put the leads on.
And then came back
I
out?
came back up.
Thank you. That's all the questions.
And counsel, could you approach, please? And if the parties could approach, please. So, Sergeant, I have a follow-up question for you from the jury. How did you get from the backyard back into the house after clearing the master bath?
How did I get into the bedroom?
So the question is, how did you get from the backyard back into the house after clearing the master bath?
I cleared the backyard and then went back into the master bath, which led into the master bedroom, and then out the front door.
Any follow-up from the state?
No.
Any follow-up from the
Oh,
defense?
yeah, thank you.
And those were all the questions. May this witness be excused, subject to recall.
Yes.
You may step down, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the state may call their next witness. Good morning, sir. I'll have you come up to this podium right here and we'll get you sworn in.
Sergeant Garrett, Allison Feldman, here, 810.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
And I'll have you take a seat up here, please. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell these folks your name, please?
Yes, I'm Sergeant Jared Benweldy with the Scottsdale Police Department Domestic Violence.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Sure. It is V as in Victor, A-N-W-E-E-L-D-E.
Thank you. How long have you been with the Scottsdale Police Department?
Approximately 18 years.
All right, so, any law enforcement experience prior to that?
Yes, in the state of Michigan for the Kent County Sheriff's Department.
For how long?
For about 4 years total time there.
All right. I'm going to ask you some questions about 2015, but what is your assignment today?
Today I am the Sergeant for the Domestic Violence Unit located in our Persons Crimes Bureau.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been there since about June.
All right. So in February 2015, on the 18th of February 2015, were you on duty?
Yes, I was.
And what was your assignment on that day?
On that day, I worked what's called the C Squad shift out of the McKellips district, which is our south district. The C Squad shift is like a mid-shift day, starting around 10:30 in the morning, going for approximately 10 hours, and it was a Tuesday through Friday schedule.
All right. Around 4 p.m. that day, do you recall, do you remember receiving a call for service on Monterey Way?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recall, if anything, about the information you received that caused you to go to a residence on Monterey Way?
There was a call about a medical at the address that we were directed to. There was an unresponsive person inside the home.
All right, and were you, you're on patrol unit
Yes.
that day, were you alone?
Yes, I was.
So, when you arrived at the residence, what do you recall seeing on the outside?
On the outside of the residence was a blue BMW that was parked near the house, as well as a male that another officer was tending to, and then the fire department was off to the side, and then I went to the front door where Sergeant Williamson and Sergeant Powell, or Officer Powell, were.
Was that it, the male that you just described, was he with Officer Kerner?
Yes, he was.
Did you have contact with that individual at all?
I did not.
So, when you entered the residence, were you in uniform?
Yes, I was.
And were you armed?
Yes.
And what was your, first of all, were you asked or assigned to do something inside the residence?
Inside the residence, my role was to clear the home and to make sure that the scene was a safe scene to conduct further investigation.
And do you recall, I think you said Officer Powell was there?
Yes.
And Sergeant Williamson as well, correct?
Yes.
So was it just the three of you that cleared the residence?
Yes.
Explain to us, please, how you went about doing it.
So when we entered the residence, we were able to look to the right and see the majority of what we would call the living room, open area, kitchen, and that sort of general vicinity. And then towards the left was where the hallway was that led to what was perceived to be potentially bedrooms, bathrooms, or other rooms. So we did a visual look to the right, and once we made the look to the left, we started to go down the hallway and clear through the home. The main purpose of the clearing is to look for any other individuals that may be in the home, whether it be someone maybe hiding, maybe someone hurt, maybe someone needing medical attention. So our purpose is to go through the home quickly and safely and to make sure that the scene is secured and we know everyone that's involved in that home.
Do you recall walking past Miss Feldman's body?
Yes.
What do you recall about the hallway in terms of any potential evidence?
Inside the hallway, what I was able to see was her body laying down on the floor. Her body was not moving. It was settled down to the ground, and nothing was up towards the sky, so her body was clearly non-moving at all. Her body was naked, and then there was some type of a cloth that was over her head area. I noticed that cloth, which looked to be purely black, has some type of discoloration on it. To me, it looked like a bleaching or a color distortion from some type of a cleaning agent. I could also smell the odor of some type of either bleach or cleaning agent of some kind that was emanating from within the home. And then to the right towards that living room area, I could see on the floor that there was some type of a film almost that it looked like was about the floor. Her body had nothing on it other than that sheet. There was blood that was on the floor and near her, and there was a smear, what I would call like an S smear, that went from where that living room kitchen area was to the location of where her body was resting. And that smear went right along from her body to that area. And then I stepped over that area and then cleared out that portion of the home, which was the master bedroom and bathroom.
While clearing the rooms, the bedrooms, and I think there was a third room, maybe an office, did you enter any of those rooms?
Yes, we entered all the rooms, walked through them, just looking for people and things of that nature, and then kept walking through them.
Were you cognizant of where you were walking and or touching?
Yes, in this type of a scene, we're trying to not touch anything. We're trying to minimal contact with anything, minimal disruption. So any doorknobs we would use to open things of that nature, but other than that, our role is strictly to look for things that we need to give immediate medical or threat attention to.
Did you go into the kitchen area at all?
I did not know.
Did you approach well, first of all, do you recall whether or not there was a Arcadia door or a sliding glass door that led into the backyard?
Yes, there was.
Do you recall whether it was open or closed?
I do not recall.
Did you approach that door?
I did not.
Could you see in the living room area, could you see what appeared to you to be a hardwood floor?
Yes, there was a brown hardwood floor as well as like a tile in the kitchen living room area.
Did you, anything about the hardwood that caught your attention?
That was where I saw like that film that I was discussing. There was something that seemed to be on that hardwood rather than it being a standard brown. There appeared to be some type of a film or discoloration.
Now, did you go into the backyard?
Yes.
And how did you get there?
From the master bedroom, we walked down the hallway from the front door, down the hallway towards the master bedroom while we were walking through clearing. And then from the master bedroom, there's a doorway that leads to the backyard. We used that doorway to get to the backyard to then clear the backyard.
So, did all three of you enter the backyard?
Yes.
And what did you do once you were in the backyard?
Once we were in the backyard, we again cleared that area as well, looking for any persons or anyone needing medical attention. Walking through, checking the areas, looked into the pool, looked at the main open areas, and then we exited out the rear gate that went to the alley.
Did you go into the garage at all?
No, I did not.
You looked into the pool. Did you see anything that you can recall?
Yes, there was a rug, like a foot rug, like you would use to kind of wipe your feet off going into the home from the outside. and it was inside the pool, upside down.
Again, asking you about this Arcadia door, did you approach it from the patio at all?
No, we looked around that area, but I did not touch that door, no.
You indicated that, was it, you exited the backyard through a gate, correct?
Yes, there was an alley that ran along the back of the houses on that street, and so we exited through a wooden gate that went to that alley, and that's how we left the scene.
And when you said we, who's we?
Myself, Sergeant Williamson, and Officer Powell.
Sergeant, let me ask you this. Is it possible that Sergeant Williamson went back into the residence?
Yes,
But you did not?
but I did not know.
And Officer Powell did not?
I did not see him go back in the hall.
The gate, do you recall whether it was locked, whether it was open, was it closed? Do you have any recollection?
We did not force entry on the gate, so it definitely was unlocked. There was it's like a latching, like a normal backyard gate, and we just went through that gate area.
Okay. And into the alleyway, and then where did you go?
Then we walked towards the front of the house. And around that time, there was a message over the radio about a car, and then I continued on to my normal duties of scene security and things of that nature.
Okay, and so in terms of scene security, what did you do?
A couple of different areas over time during the investigation. I would either post up on the alleyway or on the street or near the residence and provide scene security for the investigation.
Did you leave the residence, the area of the scene, did you leave it after you left the alleyway, or did you stay around?
I stayed around the area, yes.
And at some point, were you tasked with canvassing the neighborhood, so to speak, speaking to residents?
Yes, initial canvassing is to basically walk to the neighboring houses, talk to anyone, look for cameras, things of that nature, yes.
Did you, in doing that particular task, did you happen to observe what appeared to be cameras on one of those residences?
Yes, a next door neighbor had a camera that looked to be facing towards the target location, and I noted that and notified the investigations of my observation.
Did you yourself retrieve any film recording and all from that camera?
I did not.
Officer, do you know the defendant in this case?
His name, yes, that's about it.
Ever had any contact with him, to your knowledge?
No.
think I recall this correctly, but let me ask you again. Did you go into the kitchen area, laundry room area at all?
Not the kitchen area or the living room, none of that area. That was all to the right from the front door. I strictly went to the left.
So, and you didn't go in the garage?
No, I did not.
That's all the questions I asked.
And cross-examination by the defense.
Judge, can I just have a minute to get some?
Yes, you may.
I'll skip that for right now. Sergeant, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hold on, I got an echo in my ear. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you. I want to talk to you about your role in the house, okay?
Okay.
You just testified that your role was to clear the house, correct?
Yes.
And you were one of the first police officers to respond to the scene.
Yes.
And you came in through the front door of the house.
Yes, I did.
And you were not trying to step on anything, correct?
Correct.
You guys didn't have booties on, correct?
No, I did not.
And you didn't have any rubber gloves on, correct?
No.
And that was because your job was not to collect evidence, correct?
Correct.
Your job was merely to go through the scene and make sure that it was safe for the people that came afterwards and yourselves, correct?
Yes.
You had your holster open, correct?
Yes.
And your gun was drawn, correct?
Yes, it was.
In a ready position.
Yes.
You, Sergeant Williamson, and Officer Power were clearing the residence, correct?
Yes.
And you said that you would go into each of the rooms, correct?
Yes.
And when we're talking about this, you're going down that north hallway, correct?
Yes.
And your goal is to open every door where someone could be behind, correct?
Yes.
And to look at every space that a person could be hiding.
Yes.
And you're looking for someone who may be in distress, correct?
Yes.
Any other person that could be present in that home.
Yes.
You're not opening up drawers.
No.
You're not opening up cabinets.
No.
Your job is to make sure that no one is in that house.
Correct.
You open up closet doors.
Yes.
And when you open them, you're clearing them, looking through, see if someone's there, correct?
Yes.
Your head's on a swivel.
Yes.
You're looking for any possible threats anywhere around you.
Correct.
You went into the bathrooms,
Yes.
looked through the shower, the one with the curtain.
And I don't specifically remember doing that, but yes, we would have cleared showers as well as moving curtains.
You wouldn't open up the door when there was a glass shower because you could look straight in, correct?
Not always. So, are you talking about a glass door on like a tub for a shower?
So there were There was a shower that was completely clear,
Yeah,
both sides. You didn't open up that door, right?
I don't recall opening that, no.
You went through the office, correct?
I don't recall an office. I remember the hallway and then going into that bedroom.
Okay. And when we're talking about the bedroom that you recall, it's the north master bedroom, for lack of a better purpose.
Correct.
The one that looked like it had been lived in,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
There was a dresser on one wall, correct?
Yes, there was.
There was a bed with 2 nightstands next to it.
Yes.
And you were looking around. You did not see any signs of struggle in the north bedrooms, correct?
I did not know.
You did not see any signs of rummaging through drawers and clothes.
No, I did not.
You didn't see any drawers that were wide open.
No.
No clothes thrown about.
There was a set of clothes that was on the bed, but thrown about the room, no.
And that set of clothes was like a one outfit, correct?
It looked like one outfit, yes.
It was a jean jacket, correct? On the bed.
I didn't go through it, so I'm not sure what all was there. It was notable, there was a clothing that was on the bed.
Okay. And there was something on the front of the bed, like 2 pieces of clothing on the front of the bed, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And you guys then went through the bathroom door out to the backyard, correct?
Yes.
And you went in the alley, correct?
Yes.
And you were able to exit that in one way, it opened towards Earl, correct?
Yes, it does.
And the other way, it kind of curved around.
Yes.
And in those alleys, there's a large garbage can, kind of at the bend of that alley, correct?
I don't specifically remember, but usually there are large trash bins in the alleys, yes.
And you came around to the back towards Earl, I think you told us, is that right?
Yes, I walked, it would have been, the street's kind of at a slant, so just walking kind of southeasterly and then around to the front back to the house.
Okay, and you didn't go back in the house again.
I did not.
Now, you just talked about the neighborhood canvas. I think you went on 2, is that correct?
It may have been 2, yes.
So on the first night, you went to the houses that were immediately surrounding Allison's, correct?
Yes,
And you tried to talk to people there.
correct.
And basically, you didn't get much, is that right?
I went to several houses. Some people answered the door, said they didn't see or hear anything. Some people answered the door and said, I don't really know what to tell you. And then some people would answer the door and tell me whether or not they knew that Allison or anyone there, or whether or not they had cameras.
Some people recognized the blue BMW, correct?
Yes, one neighbor mentioned that that blue BMW they believed was a resident of the house.
But otherwise, no one heard anything that you brought back to the detectives investigating the scene, correct?
Correct.
You had mentioned that you noticed the cameras to the south of Allison's house,
Yes.
and you brought that back to the detectives who are handling this case.
Yes.
I think you went to about 4 houses that answered the door that night, correct?
I think it was about 4, yes.
And there were several that didn't answer.
Correct.
And then at some point, you talked to a lady comes up to you. Her name's Sarah. Do you recall that?
Yes, I remember someone coming up to me, yes.
And you learned from her that there was a GE repairman during the lunch hour there, but nothing more than that, correct?
Correct.
Then the next day, you came back to the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you were tasked with doing a more in-depth canvass, correct?
Yes.
And you went with Officer Kerner,
Kerner.
Kerner, that's Koener.
R-N-E-R.
Thank you. And you guys contacted about 30 residents that night.
Sounds about right.
And from that, you guys weren't collecting DNA at that point, correct?
No, I didn't know a DNA collection.
So you were just talking to find information, correct?
Yes.
And anybody that was home, you would talk to.
Yes.
You didn't take any notes,
Not that I recall, no.
and there was nothing of note that you brought back to the detectives.
Nothing that I recall bringing back now.
Let me just have one moment, Your Honor.
You may.
Sergeant, when you went out to the backyard, do you remember how tall the fence was in relation to yourself?
I'd say somewhere around my head height, and I'm about 5'11", so somewhere give or take a couple inches from that height, yes.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions, thanks.
Any redirect by the state whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, I believe we have a stipulation to the introduction of Exhibit 166.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
It's ordered admitting Exhibit 166 into evidence.
Officer Acton. Sergeant. Excuse me.
Very good.
I put Exhibit 166 on the screen. I'd like for you to assume, just assume, for the purposes of my question, that this is a photograph of some drawers within the residence, all right?
Correct.
You indicated to counsel that you didn't observe anything that indicated to you that drawers had been rummaged through, correct?
Correct.
Did you observe, by any chance, any of the drawers in any of the open at all, do you recall?
I don't recall any drawers specifically being open.
If you look closely at this photograph, can you observe what appears to be as if something had been sprayed on the knobs or on the face of these drawers?
It does look to me like there's like a speckling, and then also you can see from the speckling, like on that top drawer from the photograph, it definitely is something just coming down, which would indicate something wet had been sprayed or made its way to that drawer, yes.
Right, and obviously you don't know what happened. Well, my question for you is, as you're clearing the home, did you happen to observe anything like this?
I did not specifically look for that, no.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions that. Actually, I have one more. You received information about a GE repairman from one of the neighbors, correct?
Correct.
Was that repairman at her house? Is that why she came home early? Do you recall?
I do not recall where the GE repairman was.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question for this witness from the jury? We will collect that. And you may approach. Clearing begun before you entered house, or did all three clear at the same time?
The three of us cleared at the same time, and the manner of clearing the house will work as a team in one space and walk through. And then based on the room size and condition is when we walk in. If it's a small bathroom, one person's gonna go in and look, because all three of us wouldn't probably fit. And so that's how we go through the clearing process, is room by room, and then one or two officers based on the size of the room.
Any follow-up by the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any follow-up by the defense?
No.
Thank you. And those are all the questions. May this witness be excused, subject to recall.
Yes, ma'am.
You may step down, sir. Thank you. And the state may call their next witness.
Thank you, Judge. The state calls Harley Feldman.
And as a reminder, we will turn the camera away at this time, please.
So, can you state and spell your name for the court?
Harley Feldman, H-A-R-L-Y.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
And sir, I'll have you take a seat up here in the witness box. Thank you.
Good morning. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions this morning. First, I want to start with, can you tell me a little bit about your daughter?
Allison was probably a perfect child. She grew up well behaved, She told the truth all the time. She helped people wherever she could. She had lots of friends, and she was a cheerleader in school, and she went to all the football games. So I think she's probably a perfect child.
And gonna kind of jump to some more logistical type questions. When did she move out to Arizona?
She decided to attend the University of Arizona. I can't remember exactly what year. She had just graduated from high school in Minnesota and decided that the U of A was where she wanted to go.
Would that have been around maybe graduating at least in 07 or 08 timeframe? That sound about right?
That sounds right.
So she went straight from high school into college.
Yes.
And had she lived in Minnesota and grown up there up to that point?
Mostly. We lived in Seattle for 2.5 years. We lived in Washington, D.C. for 2.5 years. But the rest of the time she was in Minnesota.
And after she moved out here, initially going to U of A down in Tucson, did she continue then to live in Arizona up until 2015?
Yeah, when she graduated at the U of A, she decided to move to Phoenix. Tucson was small for her, and she liked the old town area of Scottsdale, so she tried to find a place to live here.
And we'll probably jump around a little, but now that we're there, did she initially move into a condo in that area?
Yes, she actually lived with a cousin of ours for about a month when she first came out here, but then she got this condo she moved into on Indian School.
And before we get to her house on Monterey, I want to ask a few more questions about her. Were you aware of sort of her general career and career choices?
Yeah, we talked almost every day.
What would that look like? Would you talk on the phone every day, text every day, something else?
Mostly on the phone. Text messaging wasn't working perfectly back then. She talked to her mother 2 or 3 times a day, and she talked to me at least once a day. And it was always her choice.
What do you mean by that, her choice?
She called us. We didn't demand that she talk to us. She just wanted to.
Was she doing okay out here financially and with career-wise?
Yes. She started with a company that sold print things, printing, if you will, and worked there for 5 years, did well there, and decided that she wanted to move into the medical industry. Wound up with Omega, where she was selling dressings and bandages for burn victims.
You mentioned you guys would talk on the phone every day. Would you also visit her out here in Arizona?
Yes, at that time my wife was a flight attendant, so we could fly free on standby, so we came out here once a month or once every couple months.
And when you come out, would you stay for a few days at a time, or to the extent that you could?
Sometimes it was 1 or 2 days, and sometimes it was a week.
When you would come out here and visit her, would you stay at her house?
Yes.
Would you, would she take you around in whatever car she had at that time?
Yes.
Were you aware, or had you met her boyfriend, Alex?
Many times.
Tell me a little bit about that. When did you, the interactions that you had with him?
I can't tell you exactly when, but we met. They'd been dating for a little while, and we spent time with Alex at her house. We'd go out to dinner sometimes.
And did you, in your observations, feel that they got along well?
They got along really well.
Were you, as her father, kind of cognizant of any potential red flags or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay. So that was a poor question, but you didn't see any issues between Alex and Allison in your observation?
No.
Was it your understanding that they were, from your observations, working their way towards potentially engagement or marriage in the future?
Possible, I mean, we never talked about any details, but they were clearly getting along better and had been dating for a long time, they went to Europe together.
And was this Allison's first kind of serious boyfriend to your knowledge, anyway?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about the house where she was living on Monterey, but I'm going to show you Exhibit 181. May I approach, Judge?
You may. And you have continuing permission.
Can you tell me what that is?
That's a picture of the three of us out for dinner.
And when you say the three of us, who's in that photo?
Allison, Elaine, my wife, and myself.
Is that sort of just a fair representation of the three of you, including your wife?
Yes.
Judge, I move to admit Exhibit 181.
Oh, Judge.
It's ordered admitting Exhibit 181 into evidence.
And we've actually seen this in the opening, but I'm going to put it on the screen just briefly so the jurors can understand what it is I asked about. I won't leave that up, but just the understanding of that's the three of you, family picture,
Yes.
kind of a regular night for you.
Yes.
So taking that photo down, I'm going to ask you about the neighborhood where Allison was living, specifically the house on Monterey. Do you remember when she moved from the condo into that house generally?
May of, would have been 11 years ago. I was actually in town when she found the house. She'd been looking for 2.5 years. And we walked into the house and I thought, this is the one she's going to buy.
You just knew as her father that this was kind of the style, the neighborhood, what she was looking for?
Yep.
Did you have any reason to be concerned about the neighborhood from your personal observations?
No.
Anything that you ever learned of that was of concern to you from Allison or otherwise?
No.
Do you know if Allison, well, to your personal knowledge, were she friendly with the neighbors nearby? Ever had any sort of altercations or anything with any of her nearby neighbors?
No, she never had altercations with anyone.
So she had been living there. You said it was around May or so of 2014 that she moved in, that time frame. So she'd been living there a little less than a year when this all happened. How many times do you think you visited in that year time frame, give or take?
I'd say 4 or 5.
And we've seen pictures of the house, but because that wasn't the house that you saw, I'm not going to show you those photos. Can you just tell me when you would go and visit, what room would you and your wife stay in?
There was a bedroom in front of the house, and we would stay there.
And we've seen one that kind of looks made up like a guest bathroom, maybe used less frequently. Is that probably where you'd, something like that?
It's the main bathroom for the house, yes.
Oh, apologies. You would use that guest bathroom when you visited, is that right?
No,
No. Which one would you use?
the main bathroom.
Okay. And you would stay in the guest bedroom, the thing we've seen made up as a guest bedroom?
Yes.
I think I got my words twisted there. And that was the regular, whenever you guys would visit, you would typically stay at her house?
Yes.
She had the room for you?
Yes.
Were you personally aware of her ever having anyone come over, like any handyman or anything, here and there to fix things?
If she did, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Would she ask you to fix things around the house, or would she typically probably ask somebody else?
She always asked me whenever I came in.
Fair enough. Were you aware if she had anyone to clean the pool, or would she do that herself?
No, she had a pool cleaner. Came once a week.
Did Allison keep her house fairly clean, at least the times that you visited?
Yes, she was a very neat person.
Did she typically have out or have ready access to like towels or dish towels in the kitchen area?
Yes.
What about the couch? Do you recall if she ever kept any blankets on the couch?
She did.
Did she appreciate kind of that being wrapped up in a blanket?
Yes, she's
Coming,
didn't like being cold.
fair enough. Coming from Minnesota, maybe she moved to Phoenix for a reason? Phoenix area?
She picked the U of A after looking at lots of schools, and I think that when they're allowed to do it.
We've seen some photos of a sliding door, Arcadia door, that goes to the backyard. Do you remember that door?
Yes.
Did that door have any sort of covering on it, or anything that covered it, to your knowledge?
No.
What about the kitchen windows to the rear? Did those have any sort of coverings on them, to your knowledge?
No.
Did you know Allison in February, or in the spring or fall in this part of town, did you know her to leave any of her doors or windows open for fresh air?
Yes, she liked fresh air. In fact, her mother used to say, "Don't leave that door open."
Do you know if she had a place where she might keep jewelry in her bedroom?
It was just in the drawers.
Do you remember her having sort of a general multi-purpose key ring?
She did. I don't remember the key ring itself, but I know she had. She'd throw it in the kitchen drawers when she cooked.
Now I'm gonna jump to a different topic. After, well, let me go out of order here a little bit. Did you ultimately become aware at one point that she had an alarm system at her house?
Yes.
And did you have access to that sort of on the internet or on your phone?
Yes.
Did you frequently check that, or was it just something that you were aware of, or something else?
I hardly ever checked it. I just was aware that it was there.
After you learned of what happened to your daughter, were you asked by police to contact her phone service provider, AT&T? Do you remember that?
I don't recall.
Okay. To your personal knowledge, has there ever been any activity on her phone that you were made aware of after February 17th, 2015?
None of them were.
Did you ultimately have access or gain access to her bank accounts?
We had some joint, almost all of our accounts were joint with me, just so we could move money around more easily here through the town. So.
And to your knowledge, was there ever any activity that you became aware of on any of her bank accounts after February 17th, 2015?
No.
Did you ultimately, did police come to visit you in March of 2015 and collect a buccal swab from your cheek?
Yes.
And you obviously you were okay with that, gave that consensually.
Yes,
And they came up to you in Minnesota to do that?
yes.
Did you, as part of your normal sort of course, did you try to make contact with Allison on February 17th?
I did. I sent her a text message 9 o'clock at night. And I didn't get a response, but in those days text messages were reliable, so I didn't think about it.
And so did you then reach back out to her that next day, February 18th?
Yes, we tried to call her a couple times, and, well, she might not answer her phone. It was always on because she was in sales. And it didn't ring.
And so for you that was sort of unusual, like the phone was off, something that wouldn't happen.
Correct. That's why about 3 o'clock in the afternoon I called the Scottsdale police to do a phone check.
Did you ultimately get a return phone call from the Scottsdale Police Department?
Yes.
And within a few hours or so of you calling to do that well check?
Yes, about 3 hours later.
And is that when you first learned what had happened to your daughter?
Yes. Detective Heinzelman called, asked me if I was driving, and I said I was, and he said, pull off the road.
The last time that you were able to talk to her, was there anything about your conversation that alarmed you at all? Was it just a normal conversation?
Just a normal conversation.
She seemed to be in good spirits.
Yeah, in fact, her mother had met with her 3 days before on Valentine's Day, and had a great visit. She was bringing me up to speed on her visit.
Just a moment, Judge.
You may.
That's all I have, Judge.
So given it's 11:57, we'll go ahead and break for lunch at this time. Please remember the admonition. Please do not discuss the case or do any research, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here at 1:30.
You were involved in this investigation, correct?
Well, I don't know what involved means, but
Well, let's talk about that. You were in contact with the Scottsdale Police Department
yes,
periodically.
yes,
You traveled each month to Scottsdale and met with the Scottsdale Police Department when you were here, correct?
yes.
You met with Detective Heinzelman.
Sometimes, yes.
You met with Detective McWilliams.
I don't think I ever met with him.
You met with Sergeant Lockerbie, who's now Lieutenant Lockerbie, correct?
I don't recall.
And you met with even some of the upper echelons of the Scottsdale Police Department.
Yes.
Like Assistant Chief Pop.
Pup, yes,
They kept you in the loop of the investigation, correct?
yes,
And it was your goal to help them determine who killed Allison, correct?
yes.
I want to talk to you briefly about your relationship with Alex, okay?
Sure.
After Allison's death, you invited Alex to Minnesota, correct?
Yes,
And you invited him to eulogize her, correct?
yes,
And for the next couple of years, you stayed in contact with Alex, correct?
yes.
You didn't think he was the one that killed Allison, correct?
Never.
You knew that the Scottsdale Police Department hadn't ruled him out for quite some time, correct?
That's correct.
So for you, that unknown DNA at PMH was key, correct?
Yes.
And you worked with the Scottsdale Police Department to get the familial DNA search, correct?
I worked with the governor and the attorney general to see if we could make it legal.
And you were kind of the person who was the catalyst for that to be used in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And the Scottsdale Police Department ultimately supported that, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately, the Scottsdale Police Department had to make a big commitment to using that familial DNA, correct?
I assume so. All I know is that I worked with the Department of Public Safety on the mechanics of getting it done. Beyond that, I don't know what happened.
And ultimately, you were kept in the loop on what was occurring with that.
Yes.
May you have one moment, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you, I don't have anything else.
Okay. And redirect by the state.
Thank you, Judge. May I have just a moment?
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Feldman, ultimately, you maintain contact with Scottsdale Police Department throughout the years?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that solving or doing whatever you possibly could to solve your daughter's murder was important to you?
Yes. I took on 2 tasks. One was to help the police wherever I could to get the crime solved. And the second was to keep her legacy alive.
No further questions, Judge.
And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if anyone has a question for this witness, we will collect it at this time. And you may approach. From the jury. The question is, to clarify, time you contacted Allison was Minnesota, so it's MN time, or AZ time, 9 p.m. text on 2/17, and calling police at 3 p.m. on 2/18, Arizona time or Minnesota time?
In Minnesota's time.
And any follow-up from the state?
If you remember, how far ahead is Minnesota in February? Is it an hour ahead?
1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Thank you. No other questions.
Any follow-up from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And that was the final question. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. You may step down, sir. Thank you. And the state may call their next witness.
Rapham, state calls Jeff Chardy, and that is pronounced spelled CIARDI.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. We'll have you come up to this podium and we'll get you sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
And sir, I'll have you take a seat up here in the witness box. Thank you. And you may proceed.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Jeff Chardy. I'm a resident of Chandler, Arizona, and been in Arizona for almost 20 years.
Where are you currently working?
I work at a company called BioVenus for the last year, but prior to that, for the 22 years previous to that, I worked at a company called Monleka, and I've been in medical device sales for 26 years.
For purposes of our court reporter, could you spell the name of that company? Because it's
Yes.
kind of hard to spell and pronounce.
No worries. So Monleka is MOLNLYCKE.
Now, when you were working for that company, can you describe what that company does?
So Monleka had a few different divisions. The division that Allison and I were in was the most prominent, which was our wound care, burn, trauma, and surgical portfolio. We also did a host of other medical devices, antiseptics, turning and positioning products that would prevent injuries in hospitals for patients with longstanding illnesses, as well as disposable medical products in the operating room.
And how long did you work for that company?
22 years.
Now, you mentioned in one of your last answers, Allison. So do you know somebody by the name of Allison Feldman?
I do.
And how do you know her?
Allison and I worked together for several years at Monleka. She also worked for me directly for almost 3 years.
And what type of work did she do for the company?
When Allison and I first started working together in August of 2012, she was a territory manager, which entailed she supported our wound care portfolio. So she would go to hospitals, non-acute facilities like hospice centers, clinics, and provide doctors, physicians, staff, nurses education about how to treat specific chronic and acute conditions. As time went on, she was promoted about a year into my tenure, and she became regional trauma and burn specialist, and she did that for the last several years.
Now, did she travel frequently for work?
Very much so, yes.
I think you mentioned territory. Where were the places that she traveled to for her work?
So my team, which was called the Rocky Mountain Team, we had the largest geography in the country. So we covered 14 states from Arizona through the middle of the country, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, went up through the base of Wyoming, across to Nebraska, Missouri, half of Kansas as well.
Do you recall what states Allison typically would handle for you?
Everyone, so wherever there was a major burn or trauma center. So we, everywhere from West Texas through Nebraska, Arizona. So she managed the entire region as well.
Okay. And you mentioned that there was frequent travel. Do you have an idea of how frequent per month?
I would say she was on the road typically 3 times a week. Sometimes our jobs would take us on the road every week, but I would say between 2 and 3 times a month.
Now, being on the road, is that always out of state or is it sometimes within the state?
It could be within the state. So sometimes, depending on the in-servicing that we would do in support of the clinicians and staff, we may stay overnight even if it was down in Tucson. But we were frequently outside of Arizona as well.
And did your company have a home office?
We did. It was in Atlanta, but we tend to work out of our remote facility, so we were considered remote employees, so our office was our homes.
Okay. So when Allison wasn't traveling, she was handling most of her work matters at home?
Yes.
Was Allison a good employee?
No, she was a great employee. She was amazing. Dedicated, driven, passionate. She balanced the hectic nature of a sales role, which is very much results driven, with also being extremely compassionate. I think that's what made her special. She had such drive and tenacity, but it was balanced with a sense of passion and compassion for those that she was helping.
Typically, what was Allison's demeanor like?
Sweet, funny, caring, outgoing, talkative. She was just bubbly, fun. She was an amazing woman.
How did she get along with her coworkers?
Very well. We were a really close, tight-knit team. We typically considered ourselves a family. When we would get together with our company at large at typical meetings, we tended to stay together as a team, whether it was social events, outings. We were sort of the, quote, fun bunch, and a lot of that had to do with Allison's presence, her bubbly nature. She was always trying to bring people into the circle. She was very charismatic.
In addition to being her boss, I think you said for about 3 years, did you also
Yes.
consider Allison a friend?
She was a friend and somebody that I considered almost like a little sister. I came from a large Italian family. I'm the youngest. Never had younger siblings, and Allison was somebody that I looked at as just someone I cared about very deeply. We would talk to 2-3 times a day. We were very close.
And it sounds like your group as a whole was pretty family-like. Did you guys socialize outside of work?
Yes.
Would that involve going to each other's homes and things of that nature?
Yep, very much so. We would go to each other's homes. Allison did come over to my home. I'd been to hers. We would frequent establishments, go out for dinner and drinks in Arizona. We also would do company functions as well. Festival of Trees, which was hosted by Maricopa Burn Center, we would go to on an annualized basis. But yes, we would hang out socially as well.
During the time Allison worked for you, did you ever have the opportunity to meet her parents?
I did.
How would you describe, given that you've indicated you had a very close relationship with Allison, her relationship with her family?
Family was everything to Allison, family and friends, but her family most importantly. Her parents, I don't remember a day that she didn't talk to her parents. That was just something she cared deeply about. Also, she was an aunt, so she talked to her sister quite often, but family and friends were two of the most important things in her life.
Did you ever have the opportunity to meet her boyfriend, Alex?
I did.
And again, in your close relationship with Allison, how did her relationship with Alex seem to you?
Amazing, great. I teased Allison quite a bit that no matter what conversation we were having, somehow, some way, she worked in a comment about Alex. They loved each other. I mean, you could tell there was a special bond, and Allison, over the time that I had known her, had dated others, but there was a different spark and a light when it came to her and Alex.
Was this a more serious relationship from the ones you had seen prior?
Very much so.
During the time that you had this close relationship with Allison and had supervised her, did she ever mention that she was having problems with anybody at work?
No.
Did she ever mention that she was having problems with anyone outside of work?
No.
I'm going to come back to one particular point about that a little bit later, but I want to kind of draw your attention to February 17th, 2015. Do you recall that date?
I do.
Was that the last time that you ever saw Allison alive?
Yes.
Can you tell us about your last interaction with Allison?
In February, prior to when we typically would get paid our bonuses, we would go through an annual review process. It was a pretty lengthy process. It would start in December, and in February we would go through, and I would sit down with each of my employees and go through it personally. Some managers would just send the document to those individuals, but I wanted to make sure that I met with each of my employees personally. So Allison and I, living in close proximity, we decided to go out to lunch and spend the afternoon together.
And do you recall where you went?
Yes, we went to the Daily Dose in Scottsdale.
Okay. And do you remember kind of around the time frame that particular day where you met up with Allison?
Yeah, we got to the Daily Dose probably a little bit before noon, and we stayed probably till close to 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Okay. How did Allison appear during your meeting with her?
Very happy. She received, as I said, she had just taken a promotion, and she was incredible in the role. When you're working in burn and trauma, you see some of the most critically ill patients. It takes a certain character of person that can compartmentalize that and still provide education, understanding to physicians and staff of how best to treat those patients. So when she took the role, I knew she would be great, but I didn't realize just how good she would be. Her review was stellar. I let her know just how proud I was of her. I'd seen her come from a person who was complimentary to the team and a leader, but someone who really flourished more as in a leadership role. And she and myself and one other partner on the team, our nurse, had the broadest interaction across and most collaboration across all of our teammates. And she was exceptional in what she did.
While you were at the restaurant with Allison that day, was there anything that gave you concern while you were there?
None.
After your meeting with her at the Daily Dose, did the two of you then kind of part ways?
Yes. I gave her a big hug after, told her how proud I was of her. I was leaving for a trip the next day, so I went home. I had asked Allison what she was going to do the rest of the afternoon, and she said different odds and ends. She'd probably run some errands, and that I would catch up with her later to remind her that she needed to sign the document.
Which leads me to my next question. At some point later on in the day, did you have a few more communications with Allison?
Yes.
What was the first one?
The first one was, as I said, to remind her that the process for the review was not complete until we had, until she went in to electronically to sign the document. And I had asked just to remind her that she had to go in and complete that task.
The reminder, did that come via an email, a text, a phone call?
We had spoken on the phone.
Okay. And then later on in the day, did you hear from Allison again?
I did.
And what was that about?
The prior week, we had been at a presentation where we were introducing our trauma portfolio to staff and surgeons at a hospital. She requested that I send over the document and the template to her for her meetings later on that week.
And when you heard from her requesting this template, was that something that came via email, a text, a phone call?
We had spoken one last time that evening.
And did you ultimately send her the template?
I did.
And how did you do that?
Via email.
Was that the last time that you ever communicated with Allison again?
Yes.
At some point, did you learn that someone else on the team had communicated with her a little later in the day that day?
Yes, in the days following the incident, yes.
Okay, and who was that coworker?
Kimberly Miner.
And do you recall what you learned about that communication and around what time that occurred?
Yes, it was later in the evening after we had corresponded about Allison wanting the template. So I think it was probably another hour later, somewhere around 7 o'clock.
If you recall, can you tell the jury when you learned about Allison's death?
The following day, so I went home, packed, and left for Denver, Colorado, where I was meeting another one of my representatives. We had meetings with physicians and staff throughout the Denver area that day. So in and out of hospitals, you tended at that point in time not to have great cellular service. So it was later in the evening after I was back at my hotel, probably, I remember it being very dark out, so it was probably close to 6 or 7 o'clock.
And was this on February 18th of 2015?
Yes.
How did you learn about what had happened?
My wife had contacted me and said that Allison's father was trying to get a hold of me that day, and between dinners and meetings, I hadn't checked my voicemail or text messages at that point, and that I should contact Allison's father.
Did you contact him?
I did.
And is that how you learned about what happened?
Yes.
Given this kind of familial group that you had at work, did you also learn, once you started talking about with the team members what had happened, that some of her coworkers had been trying to get in touch with her that day?
Yes.
And did that go without success?
It did.
Was that something that was unusual to you?
Very much so. Allison never turned off her phone. It was something we would joke about as a team. She was very responsive to me, her family, teammates, friends, but I honestly cannot remember a time where she would ever have her phone off or not respond to communications.
So you mentioned that you learned about Allison's death on February 18th. The very next day, February 19th, do you recall receiving a phone call from the Scottsdale Police Department?
Yes,
Did they do an interview with you?
they did.
Did that interview occur over the phone?
It did.
During that interview, did you essentially provide police with some of the information that you've discussed with us here today in court?
I did.
I want to ask you about some follow-up that kind of took place in between the days to follow. First of all, a few days after your phone interview with police, did they meet up with you to ask you to provide a DNA sample?
Yes,
Did you do that?
I did.
Were you aware of any other of your employees that did so as well?
Yes, one of the other male employees, Joe Paddock in the state of Arizona, who lived locally, he was also provided a DNA sample as well.
Was that a coworker that was close with Allison as well?
Very much so, yes.
Now, if you recall, I asked you about whether or not you were familiar with anyone that Allison might have had a problem with outside of work. At some point, did you receive an email from Allison's coworker, Kim Miner?
I did.
And tell us what you learned through that email.
In the email, Kim had mentioned that there was a person over time, I think prior to Allison moving to her home in Scottsdale, a UPS driver that Allison had mentioned to Kim that had either she had to thwart some advances or had asked her out on dates previously. Because we tend to get tons of packages, we're constantly ordering supplies so that we have samples to provide doctors or patients at that point. That professional probably had a ton of interaction with Allison over time.
And so when you received this email, did you provide that information to the Scottsdale Police Department?
I did.
In the event it was relevant?
Yes.
At some point, did the police also follow up with you to check on the status of a credit card that was kind of a company card, Allison's American Express corporate card?
Yes.
What do you recall about that?
I recall that the Scottsdale police had reached out and asked if there was any activity on the corporate credit card when we would, go out, whether it be traveling for incidentals as we were traveling. The company provided us a corporate credit card for incidentals and for also entertaining.
And did there appear to be any fraudulent activity on that card?
At the time, I don't recall, no.
During your interactions with police, is it fair to say that you were trying to be helpful in providing as much information that you could to see if it in any way could assist the investigation?
100%, absolutely.
Do you recall talking to the police about a conversation you had had with Allison about a gun?
I do.
Tell us what you recall about that.
Allison had reached out and asked, and the only reason I remembered it was just days before the incident, and there was an issue with, I got an alert on my phone that there was either a terrorist attack or an ISIS attack, and Allison and I were chatting about that, and she had mentioned at that point that she was interested in potentially obtaining and owning a firearm. She knew that I like to go to the gun range and go target shooting, so she asked me just questions about which handguns, things of that nature.
And you told the police about this, why?
Just the timing, I felt it was just too much of a coincidence, but it was also something that just sparked in my memory just days after the incident that we had had this conversation, and I wanted to make sure that all relevant information was provided to the police.
Was there anything that Allison had told you at the time that you believed in any way was necessarily tethered to this conversation?
Not at all.
Just something that you felt like you should share in case there was something to it?
That is correct.
And then one last question I have for you is, I believe you had one other final contact with Scottsdale Police Department, if I'm correct, when I believe it was around October of 2015 when they called to ask some questions a little bit more specific to the areas that Allison covered as part of her job. Do you recall that?
I do.
And what do you recall about that?
I recall that they had asked whether or not Allison had gone up north into the Flagstaff area. Typically, Allison would go into the more metropolitan areas where, again, you'd have level 1 trauma centers or where burn centers would typically be situated. And there would have been very little reason for Allison to be in Flagstaff unless she was supporting Joe Paddock, who covered that area.
Okay. And so you provided the police with that information?
I did.